The first thing I want to get off, I'll get off my soapbox and talk about non-live service. All right, so this is, artificial insemination, things like that. My problem with artificial insemination, and let me be honest, I've never read this anywhere, I've never seen it anywhere, but it's just in my own intuitive thinking. Here's the deal. With artificial insemination, one ejaculation creates 100 straws. Okay? In natural service, that ejaculation would create one calf, one fertilized egg. In artificial insemination, it can create 100. What that means is that of all the millions of sperm that were released in that one ejaculation, all of them competed. They're competing. I'm trying to imagine here. They're competing, and one beats all the rest and gets to the egg. Okay, but in artificial insemination, they're making 100 straws, so they're allowing sperm number 99, 98, 97, 97. Okay, all the way down to 100. So the one that was 100 behind the most vigorous, vibrant, robust, aggressive one also makes a calf. And I think that artificial insemination, because we're using so much sperm that was second and third and fourth and even 99th best, gradually reduces robustness, immunological function, all those kinds of things. And so I just have a philosophical problem with the artificial insemination concept, idea. It's also very expensive and it's risky. A lot of times you have to synchronize your cows so they all come into estrus at one time. It's hard to coordinate. You're fooling around with a lot of stuff, and I hope by now looking at this lunatic farmer, I'm not into to all the latest techno glitzy stuff, because I think there are problems with it, and it's also very hard to find compatibility, and I did early on, very very young, 35 years ago. I thought, oh, this artificial insemination, we'll get some hot shot bulls, man. We're gonna get some bull power here that we could never afford to buy the bull. So we did some artificial insemination, and my goodness, those animals fell apart. They weren't, they were bred for, grain production and vaccinations and all sorts of things, and they just fell apart here. So it's really hard to find compatibility. So with that out of the way, let's talk about natural service. What bull? What kind of bull are you going to get? The answer is real clear. Get one that's better than your cows. You can always find a bull that's better than your cows. In looks, from a herd, from a breeder, okay? And you're wanting a bull from somebody who share some of your objectives. If you're using electric fence, try to find a bull that grew up on a farm with electric fence. If you're not into a bunch of vaccines, medications, parasiticides, and grubicides, go to somebody who doesn't use all that stuff. That's the idea. You're looking for a general shared objective. Then, if you can, try to find something within your geographic area. We made this, and all these things that I'm telling you, we have made those mistakes in the past. If I did a segment of this course saying all the mistakes Joel's done, over 60 years, it would make quite a segment. But we've done this. We bought bulls from way far away, that came highly recommended, and this is the greatest thing, and they died. I mean, they literally didn't make the winter. We bought them in the fall, and in the spring he's dead. Stay within your geographic area. You want somebody that similar latitude, longitude, that's in your climatic region. Look at your bull's relatives. Okay, look at his calf mates, and preferably look at his mother. Kit Farrow, the guru of grass-based genetics and breeding in the U.S. He's got like 4,000 cows. He says that if in the last 70 years, nobody had ever saved a bull from a cow younger than about 8 years old, we pretty much wouldn't have a large vet business in the country anymore. if there's one thing that you want to do or you want to select for, it's longevity. Longevity is number one. That determines, adaptability, strength, robustness, vibrancy, all, immunofunction, all those kinds of things. And so when you're selecting a bull, looking at his relatives, especially his mother, and especially if his mother is older than 8, that means she's been around a while. Anybody that's had a cow 8 years has probably had 6 calves out of her. She's always brought a calf, to finish. She's good to go. All right. So that's kind of selecting the bull. Let's go into when do you want to breed? And the idea is, so the cow's gestation is 9.5 months. So back that up. When are the deer fawning in your area, or elk fawning, or when are the herbivores in your area having babies? That's when you want to breed, so that your calving comes consistent with whatever those are. And generally, that's as close to the equinox as you can get. The longest days, that's when you get the greatest grass growth, the forage is abundant. And you know what that means? That means that the predators, wolves, coyotes, bears, things like that, they have all sorts of things to eat because everything's having babies. So you want to have your calf babies when wildlife is having babies, because that's when the carnivorous predators are already well fed and they're not going to mess with your cows. In fact, I can remember some of the early days of the grass-finished movement when it was kind of axiomatic that the single biggest way to change your profitability was changing your calving from too early to later on in the season. By 60 or 70 days in, those calves that are calved in warm weather on green grass with a nice vibrant, cow that hasn't just come through the winter, those calves are going to catch up with a 60-day older calf that was calved in the mud, in the cold, on hay, with a cow that's struggling to even, keep her own body weight up. So as you're selecting your bull, get a bull, find a bull that's as close to what you envision, what's your fantasy, what do you want your cows, what do you want your calves to look like? Get a bull that looks like that. Get a bull nearby, as close as you can, from a breeder who shares as much of your philosophy, your values as possible. Breed so that they're calving when everything else in nature is having babies. All right, that's what you're looking for. And then make sure that you don't overspend on the bull and that you rotate as necessary. All those things will give you a lot of success in your breeding program, and you'll have calves that you'll really enjoy.